Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Book channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review We Don't Kill Spiders #1. But before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, commenting, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, we got the cover here for We Don't Kill Spiders #1. It is a Black Caravan Comics, which is the Scout Comics mature line, and it is by Joseph Schmalke. And we start off on the first page with a Viking family that seems nice. You know, they're just talking to each other, joking around a bit, telling stories. But while they're talking, they hear a noise and the dad decides to go outside. And when he does, someone comes out and cuts his head off and then proceeds to attack the family. Then we cut to a while later where multiple families have been murdered. And this man, Bjorn, is showing up to kind of investigate what's been going on in this town. And he goes to meet the Jarl or chief of this town. And Jarl Ulf tells Bjorn that they have a suspect for these murders, that it's a witch that was kicked out of town and is no longer allowed to live there. And her name is Revna. And we have a flashback of what happened to Revna and her family, where some cattle died unnaturally. Because of that, Jarl Ulf puts her mother and grandmother, who were witches, to death. And when he killed Revna's mom, she put a curse on the village. So he's assuming that Revna is the one who's killing these families. And I thought this was funny. After that meeting with Ulf, Bjorn goes and asks, hey, can I look at the crime scene? So we get like a Viking detective story here where he's kind of going to the crime scenes and looking for clues. He finds shackles and he also finds symbols written in blood all over the walls. So after that, Bjorn decides to go talk to the witch herself and he goes to Revna's house. And surprisingly, she's pretty cooperative. She is full grown now. And she is actually interested in what the symbols were, but it seems like maybe she's got an ulterior motive. Now, they make it a point to say that Bjorn doesn't believe in magic or gods or anything. And while he's in her house, a spider lands on his shoulder and he kills it. And she gets angry that he does that. And then she takes the spider's body and does a spell and brings it back to life in front of Ulf's eyes. So he's kind of believing of her power, at least somewhat now. So he suggests that he should take her to the crime scene he was just at so she can look at the symbols and maybe feel the power that was there. And that's where I'm going to stop this one. I don't want to spoil anything else. So this was an interesting comic. I've been seeing it on the shelves at my comic book store and just was intrigued by the title and the imagery on the covers. And it's totally different than I thought it was. I thought there was going to be a lot more spiders. I thought maybe it was some kind of weird Norse fantasy with spider people involved or something. But it seems that it's actually more of a murder mystery in a Viking town, which is an interesting kind of different story. You wouldn't think Vikings and murder mystery together, but it seems like Joseph Schmalke is trying something interesting here where he's kind of mashing two different genres together. I did feel that this issue was exposition heavy. There was a lot of dialogue and a lot of setup of what's going on and people talking in big halls and chambers and stuff, and not too much action. I understand we have to be filled in on what's been going on and the story and everything, but just because it was like a Viking thing, I assumed there would be more violence or battles or something, but it wasn't necessarily boring. It was just information going on each page. And the art was interesting. I thought that the covers are very cool for this book. They're very attractive. And the interior art isn't quite my style. It's a little too loose and sketchy, but it kind of works for this because it's in the time of the Vikings and like all the buildings are kind of made of like hay or whatever. And so it fits that feel, but it's just not my favorite style of art. So I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. It was a solid start. It was a little different than I thought it was going to be, but I do think it's going to pick up as the series goes along. I think it's on issue 4 right now, so it's in the middle of this run. So if you saw anything you liked, definitely go pick this up at your local comic book store, and we will see you all in the next one.